Sorry, I was analyzing my voice there when I got a little lost because my voice was gone over the weekend. There's no reason for me to do this job. I don't know why I have this job. I don't. I have vocal cords that go at the drop of a hat. And so...
Are there any health problems you have yet to acquire?
I don't have ALS. That I know of.
Yet.
That I know of. I don't have ALS.
That's good.
God. Yeah.
There you go.
All right. So, and I really need my voice today because, Fani Willis.
Oh, Fani.
Now, in case you don't remember, Fani Willis is the prosecutor. She is the DA that is making this case about Donald Trump, trying to steal the election, yada, yada, yada. Well, there's a little problem there because somebody found out that she was paying one of the expert witnesses and investigators an awful lot of money. He was making I think almost twice as much, right?
As some of the other experts.
Yeah, some of the other people. So people started looking into that. And then the rumor came to this investigator that they were having an affair. And they were going on lavish trips together. And so they wondered, wow, is something going on here that, might lack some professionalism? Yes. And then there became this little squabble of, when did you hire him? Did you hire him before or after this case? What is it? There was also a divorce going on, and he was getting a divorce, this prosecutor. He was getting a divorce, and it came up in the divorce trial that those two were having an affair. And he said, no, I've never had an affair in my marriage. Okay, well, that wasn't true, but he got on the stand and he said, well, it depends on, I'm not making this up, depends on how you define marriage. In my head, we were divorced for a long time. Okay, not usually the way we do that, but okay. Let's redefine some more things about marriage. So the problem is they swore under oath several times that they didn't have a relationship at all prior to 20...
Again, this was a big part of the testimony.
Right,
do you mean romantic relationship?
Yes,
or
I
do.
do.
You mean relationship as if they had met each other.
Do we have any porn music? That kind of a relationship. You know what I mean? Okay. This guy.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, this.
Yeah.
You could see
Ding dong.
Yeah.
Pizza delivery. Okay. All right.
So they had they admitted to the relationship after he was hired, and I believe he was hired in November of 2021. Okay. So they, I think, said the relationship started in early 2022.
Right.
And so,
after he was hired.
Yeah, after he was hired. And so of course, they went to work to say, wait a minute, this seems like it started way before that, including a testimony from someone, one of her best friends at the time.
And then somebody else that, said attorney-client privilege.
Right, yes.
So that's fifth. Okay, we know what you're saying. Sit down.
Right. One of his attorneys was also asked about this, and obviously they wouldn't have asked him about this if they didn't know what the answer was, but he couldn't. He was able to get out of it with attorney-client privilege. However, the other witness said they had been together since at least 2019. Now, of course, this is important because the accusation here is that she's trying to extend this and do as much as they can to get as much money into this guy's pocket as possible. In other words, her goal is not justice here. Her goal is to enrich this guy who is in turn enriching her, right? Now, if their answer was immediately, look, this guy's the best in the business. Yeah, we had an affair. It's got nothing to do with this. We've been dating since 2019. But it doesn't matter because I knew he did great work, and that's why I brought him on this case. It's got nothing to do with this case. They probably skate scot-free on this. But because of his divorce, they don't go down that road. They decide instead to deny everything. And that leads to some problems.
Some little problems. Mm-hmm. Now, so it was really, he said, she said kind of stuff, and you didn't have any evidence except it seemed pretty obvious. Nobody in their right mind could buy their excuses. But if you want to have no shadow of a doubt, you don't really have any evidence. Right?
Remember their excuses, too, that they went on multiple expensive trips that he paid for on his business credit card, his business credit card. He paid for those trips. Then their story is, after they returned, she took some amount, thousands and thousands of dollars, each time, out of her glob of cash she keeps at her house that there are no records of, and she takes the thousands of dollars and gives it to him to pay back for her part of the travel. Remember, they're dating at this point. For her part of the travel, and then he takes it and then never deposits it into his bank account.
Right.
He just, I guess, keeps it in his glove box and pays for gas every time in cash.
Well, I mean, it's his business credit card. He went into the business and said, here, I owe you this, and just gave him lots of cash.
Well, there would be, of course, a record of that. So that's not what happened.
Well, unless the accountant at the business doesn't.
No.
We don't count cash coming in. We just put it in, this drawer, right here.
Oh, yeah. Well, again, like if he paid in cash for the trips, this might be kind of believable, even though it's never happened before.
No.
This interaction between two people in a romantic relationship has never occurred.
Okay. So now, apparently, there's something called phone records.
What?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Well, it means they can track your location by triangulating your location. Now, this is, it's kind of interesting that the phone records show that they had a lot of late night, phone calls that kind of came in and ding dong, pizza, He was playing the pizza delivery man.
He was.
Yeah.
I mean, look, sometimes pizzas do get delivered late at night.
Yes.
And then other times people look under the box.
So over 2,000 voice calls and just under 12,000 interactions were exchanged.
Well, it's 12,000 text messages.
Yeah, 12,000.
2,000 voice calls. Can you think of anything more annoying than receiving 2,000 voice calls from anyone, let alone Fani Willis? God.
I wonder if Tanya and I have
this guy deserves hazard pay.
I wonder if Tanya and I have had 2,000 calls back to each other and 12,000 text messages.
I mean,
there's no way.
What was the period again? I mean, it's a year.
It was January to November, not a year, 10 months.
Okay, 10 months. I mean, I talked to my wife on the phone. I'm trying to think. Let's go crazy and say twice a day. I mean, I live with her, right? Like I see her at home in the morning, and I see her at night, and then during the day, there's a couple times she might call or text. I mean, I could probably count up a month of our texts to see how many were exchanged, but there's no way it's 1,000.
So I don't carry a phone, but I have an iPad that I take text, and Tanya probably texts me 2-3 times a day, maximum.
Right.
Maximum.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, again, I don't know. Interactions, it's a little bit, honestly, like the text messages, some people text a lot. Some people write small text messages. Some people give you the emoji reactions to them. I don't know what counts in there. So 12,000, maybe that's understandable. 2,000 voice calls in 10 months? I bet I have not made 2,000 phone calls in 10 months if you combine every call I've made.
Now, even if the 12,000 text messages were just doing the salsa dancer emoji, which I don't.
Is there a salsa dancer emoji?
Yeah, you've never seen that? I have no idea what it's
I don't know that I've ever used an emoji, so that's
yeah. So there's the salsa dancer, and I don't know what the salsa dancer is supposed to represent. I have no idea, and so maybe that's the code salsa dancer. You know what I mean? Right. It's like, hey, let's hook up salsa dancer.
Right. They have like their own code language.
If there's 12,000 salsa dancers, we know something's going on because, I mean, what does that mean? That's code.
Would you be surprised if we saw a lot of eggplants and peaches?
Okay, I don't. I don't know what those mean.
8,000 of the 12,000 were eggplants or peaches.
I don't.
What?
No.
I guarantee they'd be like,
Saul's an answer.
Look, have you ever had this authentic native dish that has both peaches and eggplants? We kept making it. That's all.
That's it.
They will go to any length to lie about this at this point.
They are done. Well, here's what she said. Okay, so just so you know, they have him how many times? 45 times? 35 occasions.
Yes, at least
at her,
and that was a conservative estimate. 35 was a conservative estimate about how many times she was there. He was there.
They have things like this: September 11th through the 12th. Deeper analysis. We don't need to say that. Described the attached affidavit from the cell phone tracking. He left the Doral area approximately 10:15 p.m., traveling directly to and arriving within the geofence located on the Dogwood address to approximately 10:45. He left the Dogwood address approximately 3:28 a.m. What happens between 10:45 and 3:28 a.m.? I mean, I'm just... Okay, then he leaves there and he texts Fani at 4:20. Okay.
Can you please call her, for the purposes of this, can you please refer to her as Fani?
I'm having a hard time with your peaches remark. Following a call from Fani Willis at 11:32 p.m., which continues for 40 minutes, leaving the towers located near his residence in East Cobb at approximately 12:05 a.m., ongoing call at 12:38.
So he leaves his house to drive to her house and is on the phone with her the whole way, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Then he goes, just think about this. Then he goes to this area, which includes her home, a very small area between two cell phone towers. And how long does he stay there till?
Until 4:45 a.m.
4:45 a.m.?
Yeah.
Is it really 4:45? I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah.
But he never spent the night, as they both
didn't.
testified. He never spent the night. Now, how would you justify this?
That you know what makes sense now? Why did the prosecution, when they were talking to him and her, why did they say, was he ever at where you laid your head?
Yeah, that was the terminology. Now, it was her. She used that terminology first in the testimony.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, because they were trying to say, okay, what about at this condo? She's like, I don't even know. I just kept the cash wherever I laid my head. Now, of course, that's always what you do, right? Let's say you go to a motel, you bring your $50,000 in cash with you. It just stays with you wherever you go. I know a lot of people operate this way that are in the mob, but other than that, I don't know of anyone who does.
So here's what she has said since Friday, since his story broke. Quote, the records do nothing more than demonstrate that a special prosecutor Wade's telephone was located somewhere.
Not him. Maybe
right, it's just his phone.
His phone could have been flying. What if it has wings and it's flying around at night? We have no idea.
He's a guy, he loves to share. He's
a big sharer.
I'm not going to use my phone between 10 o'clock at night and, let's say, 4:55 in the morning.
I've got unlimited minutes.
Yeah,
no one's using them.
Yeah,
why don't you use my phone?
Use them. Mm-hmm. So records do nothing more than demonstrate that Special Prosecutor Wade's telephone was located somewhere within a densely populated multiple-mile radius where various residents, restaurants, bars, nightclubs, and other businesses are located.
How many of those are open at 4:20 a.m.?
Well, I'd also like to say, how many cases have you tried on cell phone location? Because
this is so bad.
What she is now arguing against is what's called cell hawk, and law enforcement and attorneys say this is the system to triangulate phones. So everybody who is Googled in, how do I get rid of an 120-pound sack of meat and bones, and then the girlfriend is missing, they always but we have you going to the Home Depot, back to your house, then to the grave site. I'm sorry, to that park you were visiting. You know what I mean? This is the same thing. So if she discredits this, how many cases, I mean, because if I were a defense attorney and my client had gone to jail with this as the linchpin and she discredits, I'd be like,
she herself.
So even the district attorney says this isn't good. It's really bad.
And do you think she's the type of person who would risk multiple murder investigations over just to protect herself, Glenn?
Yes.
Does she seem like that kind of person?
Yes, I do.
Wow,
Yes, I do. And so does he.